Bruce Wayne may appear to be a wealthy playboy, but beneath this facade, his true identity is that of the Batman, waging an endless war against crime. Join the Caped Crusader in Batman The Audio Adventures, the first scripted audio original featuring Batman and his villainous rogues gallery in a world premiere story of life and death in Gotham City, debuting exclusively on HBO Max. This rollicking adventure, told across 10 episodes, is written and directed by Emmy winner Dennis McNicholas, includes devilishly delightful original music by Doug Bossy, and performances by Rosario Dawson, John Leguizamo, Chris Parnell, Melissa Villaseñor, Seth Meyers, Jason Sudeikis, Brooke Shields, Fred Armisen, and many, many more. Go to hbomax.com/Batman Audio Adventures for more and stream Batman, The Audio Adventures only on HBO Max. Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this week we're focusing on that middle letter, that C, capital C, baby, cinema, because there's a new movie that came out a couple weeks ago, and that is The Eternals by Chloe Zhao, the introduction to Celestials, Deviants,
and Eternals.
And Eternals. Yeah. The titular Eternals, I will say. I would say it was a hotly anticipated movie just because it seemed to be very different in style as the other things. And this is a cast of heroes we have never met before. So a really kind of high benchmark. I don't even know the last time Marvel introduced new new central heroes.
Shang-Chi?
Oh yeah, a couple months ago. So I guess there it is. But I'm really excited to talk about this. Now, this is going to be spoiler filled. Deep inside of this movie are spoilers, and that's where we are.
Just like the celestial Tiamat, deep inside the core of the earth, we are deep inside these spoilers.
Well, that is a deep cut. But so if you haven't seen the movie for whatever reason, wait. Just wait a little bit. Watch it.
Wait.
And then listen, but we also have a spoiler-free review that's out now with Andrew and I in a hotel.
It's true.
Yeah.
Recording it right after we saw the movie.
It sounded like we were tired as fuck, too, but it was the best.
I haven't heard it, but I believe you.
Wait, you don't edit these things?
I do edit these things. Impaired. But I'm really excited because we get to dive into all the stuff, including those after credit scenes.
The editing impaired sounds like a perfect explanation for some of these podcasts.
Or maybe this movie. We'll talk about it. I am Emmanuel.
Hey, I'm Andrew.
What's up? It's John.
And we're the Eternals of podcasting.
That's true. We've been here as long as the Eternals have, but on the podcasting.
We have been here 7,000 years, and we have done nothing. We have accomplished nothing. Well, you've heard Andrew and I talk about it, and we will talk about it a little more going into the spoilers. But John, we have yet to hear your thoughts on the Eternals.
Thoughts.
And here, I'll give you a penny. Andrew,
show me your thoughts. THOTS.
Oh, my thoughts are exposed.
Yeah. John, you've seen this movie a couple times, if I'm not mistaken.
I have, yeah. I saw it twice.
What did you think overall about the Eternals?
I thought it was a really fun movie. I think I was kind of worried on the second, before I get into the details of it, or my details of the thoughts, I was kind of worried about the second time through. It wasn't going to hold up because the length of the movie is kind of long. You know, it's almost like, it's not Endgame long, or it doesn't feel Endgame long, but it's pretty out there.
Two almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, almost 3 hours. I enjoyed it a lot. It was, whoa, man, it's a lot. I think the whole movie is I still think it's one big exposition dump, the entire movie. There's not like a lot of dialogue that isn't kind of explaining what's about to happen or what the fuck is going on.
Or at least trying to carry, three things that,
Yeah, or in this case, 7 things at once, because it's a lot of, the plot line either follows Cersei and Icarus and their love story, or it follows their, the
past.
their faith, their past, their faith in Ashram, the celestial, this emergence that's happening.
You sound insane, John. Just
deviants.
saying all this stuff, you sound insane.
That's crazy,
Their
right? 'Cause
faith
that's
to Ashram.
I'm literally describing the fucking movie.
yeah, and
Like,
you're not
that's-
even 10% in.
Yeah. So like the movie is a lot, and I think it's understandable. I think we're going to talk about the reactions that other people have had to it, but I think it's understandable why it's kind of divisive because it is a lot. The movie is also very different, aesthetically and in content wise. Like it's not an action heavy movie like the way maybe like Shang-Chi is. Shang-Chi has like a bunch of set pieces and stuff. This movie is very tame or very slow. Like it's mostly character based, or at least tries to be very character based, which is kind of like a breath of fresh air for me. It dives into existential questions that we kind of only touch upon. We don't really sit too much with them, but it's kind of like an A for effort thing, which is kind of like that's cool. But man, does this affect the MCU in a really crazy way. Like it not only introduces the history of the MCU, because you kind of see what's been going on Earth all these times, and you kind of can't believe that the Eternals didn't really do shit, especially when one of them kind of starts a cult and just books it. But and then you get like Celestials, you get Deviants, you get the reason why Celestials are out there. They're like huge humanoid robot thingies in space. Even with the after credit scenes, you introduce things that are about to be like super fresh to the Marvel universe.
One of the more mundane characters in the film ends up being his own series or show. I'm talking about Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, and then like you just end up. And then like it has a lot of twists. Like it's got plot twists like crazy. It's kind of like almost like Marvel soap opera in a way.
Very melodramatic.
Yeah, super melodramatic.
Plus sex scene.
There's a sex scene in it, which and I think that was probably blown out of proportion when everyone's talking about it. But
And also, like all of us, it only lasts about 8 seconds.
That's way too long.
The fact that this movie has something in it like that is very new to the MCU.
And honestly, for me, I want mostly sex scenes in my MCU.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, why haven't they? Why wasn't this longer?
They should re-edit all of them.
They have a sex scene in Iron Man 1.
Iron Man
remember?
1, yeah.
And people were like, "There's no sex scene." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He like bangs a girl in like the first 10 minutes.
And then Pepper Potts goes in and be like,
takes
"Get-"
out the trash.
Ooh, I remember that line.
Yeah. I liked it. I think it's a welcome addition to the MCU. I think it's the cosmic weird, because the movie is very weird. Like, we'll get into it. Like, it's very, I can imagine some of the reaction to this from general audience people, or maybe people who just know Marvel through the MCU, probably scratching their heads.
Or who now go to these movies looking for the next chapter in a weird way.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like they want.
Totally. And this is, it's very standalone-ish. You don't really get the connections until probably like the very end or so.
And they're not huge connections.
They're not, and I think it just sets up more Eternal stories really at the end. But like, very satisfying to me. I think it might go down as one of the most underrated Marvel movies because of its status.
Has Marvel finally had their first cult hit?
Yeah,
We'll have to
I
see.
guess in this case, yeah. I mean, it's not like one of those.
I mean, do cult hits make like 300 million? I don't think
know,
so.
but like one of those like popular. I think it's just like going to be probably unliked in the Marvel
Yeah.
timeline, I guess, because people tend to kind of like more Marvel movies than others.
Well,
I think,
there's
like
a-
Guardians of the Galaxy is like
Yeah.
there's
And-
a giant fandom around that, and they really want more movies like that. But then also people aren't so hot on like other movies. Like I'm not really big on like the Ant-Man movies, but they're like they're okay.
Ant-Man
Like,
hate.
No, it's not that. It's just
He
like
hates the sexiest man alive.
oh, the sexiest man.
Jealous.
I feel like Edgar Wright would have made him sexier if he stayed on.
I mean, God.
His more revealing costume.
I know.
He's like, there's only one part that doesn't shrink.
This would Eternals would be the second sex scene in the MCU. But I do think, to your credit, that this movie is kind of standalone. But you can't really ignore the fact that COVID disrupted so much. I think originally Thor: Love and Thunder was supposed to come out before this movie, and there were other films that were supposed to come out before the Eternals, but this was already shooting and it was already done.
The Inhumans.
Maybe, I mean, yeah, that came out, but I feel like they, and I feel like no franchise really, maybe Harry Potter, it'd be weird to have that out of order, I guess, but no other franchise has this reliance of multiple storylines coming out in a specific order, especially now with Disney Plus shows. And we said we felt this for Black Widow, right? We were like, man, They should put this out a long time ago because now is not the time when it's the finale of Loki to be like, hey,
Yeah, like
Black Widow was cool, right? So I mean, but Andrew, since our hotel room stay, that was the first sex scene for Delphin Pod. Just kidding, JK, behind the paywall. But what do you have any additional thoughts before we dive into some of like the really specific stuff? Since you've been able to noodle on the Eternals.
Nope. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it was. I think no. I said it in the first one, in the spoiler free one, that I really dug it, and I think it's really cool still. And now that I got to kind of really think it over and ponder the question. I'm just kidding.
Uatu's always watching.
Well, and I think the reason that it's not getting as much buzz or grave reviews is because I think it feels like a detour from it's like when like Ant-Man and the Wasp came out right after Infinity War, and we're like, we just want to know what happened with the snap, and you're telling us like this heist thing about like a ghost and
it takes
Lawrence
place before,
Fishburne, and you're like, I don't give a fuck, like what the fuck is happening, like is everyone dead or?
Yeah.
And you get it a little bit at the end in the after credit scene, but this one kind of feels like a detour to most people, especially the more mainstream audience that really they use them. I'm not saying they're not into the comic books because these are kind of like the gateway drug into the material because you read it and you're like, damn, the Celestials became some of my favorite characters.
But the Eternals are also a pretty obscure. They're not exactly like grade A.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not. They're not the most popular superheroes.
Yeah. I mean, and even Thanos is an Eternal. So you've seen them before.
This is about family again.
Yeah, and so you've seen them before. You just didn't know that you were watching them, and so
Right.
the Celestials is the same thing. Where like it's Galactus isn't one of them, but you're like, okay, I get it, like
Yeah,
scale. Yeah.
yeah, and so I think there's a lot of people who read the comics that are a little bit more familiar and more prone to the absurd, I think. And here we are wanting to know like multiverse this, multiverse that,
Yeah.
Loki, WandaVision, where the fuck is Mephisto? And then we're getting Spider-Man with this multiverse, and then we're like Eternals. It has to do with the Earth and
Humanity.
Well, and that's what's so cool about it is that it's this really big scale story that is more human than like
Then human.
well,
No,
then
sorry.
like some drama that you're watching.
Yeah, and the main characters aren't human.
And they struggle. These characters struggle with these real world issues that we struggle with because they were kind of raised on this planet where it's like love and obviously Icarus and Cersei have this thing,
Andrew's about to attack the Christian
And
church.
religion too, like
Yeah.
faith in
Religion
like a
and-
god, literal god.
and then like exactly religion and is that Druid?
Well, no, I was thinking
Um,
like the faith in Ashram,
Yeah.
like just like
oh yeah, for
like-
sure. And so
it's like that fanaticism thing that
and-
happens at midnight mass.
and family and all these things
Toretto.
all these things that we hold dear in our normal lives, and that's what this movie's about. And so I think it's really cool that even if Chloe Zhao doesn't get a second one out of this, which she should at least get another project. If you're not going to do the Eternals, have her do something else or whatever.
I was going to save this for the end. She really wants to do another one, but the producer has now said that this is not on their priority list.
Yeah, and so that's a shame because I think it's she's one of the more talented directors that we've had.
The first Oscar-winning director in the
But
MCU.
also just, sucks to hear that because like these characters are obviously showing up somewhere else, and I think like it's weird to not have Zhao a part of it.
And
if that makes
and
any sense.
you can now also have one of the weird things about, not weird, but one of the fun things about this is these Eternals have been around since the dawn of humanity, so they can also be in anything
Yeah.
from the past, the present, the future.
And yeah, it is weird that I'm sure Thor would have known about them. It's
Well, apparently he does.
It's a little bit odd that he does. That
Kingo
he doesn't
says
say
he
anything.
does.
Yeah, and so you're like, damn, what the fuck? If I were Thor, I would have been like, oh, there's Eternals lighting up.
Well, they
like,
were very quiet. They
Yeah, and I get the deviant thing and stuff like that, but I still really dig this movie, and I think that if you're listening to a bunch of the buzz and that's deterring you from watching this movie, that you should put that out of your mind. You should lower your expectations for sure because it's not about the multiverse, and Loki doesn't come out here, and Mephisto's not in
Sorry.
this.
It's also like
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Mephisto's not.
It's not exactly Nomadland either. Like it's not. You're not gonna
and,
get that.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, it's a lot funnier than I thought it was gonna be.
It's
where
funnier
like,
than Nomadland.
and you're like,
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
you don't think shitting in a bucket is funny?
Oh, I will say Chloe Zhao does have every Eternal shitting in buckets in this, and that is good.
Mostly Gilgamesh with his
Yeah.
1,000-pound shit. The bucket's not big
Huh,
enough.
do Eternals even poop? They don't have to, right? Do Do they eat?
They eat. They
That
some
is
have
weird
meals.
that
They had dinner or they had lunch. Interesting. And,
They're basically like what is it? The synthetics. What are they called?
They're like
Blade
replica-
Runners.
yeah,
I'm just kidding. Replicants.
I know everyone's making a big deal about the first sex scene in the MCU. I want to see the first pooping scene in the MCU. All these heroes poop,
Dropping
right?
his shit.
Like twice a day.
It doesn't kind of
Iron Man
sexy.
says
They're
that
both robots.
Iron Man says that he peed the suit in Iron Man 2.
That's true. And the Hulk. I'm just kidding. No, can you imagine the Hulk's turds
But yeah,
or Ashrams?
Earth.
That's a big.
It's just like it's just like the comet line. You're just like, oh, it's just,
my God.
like deer pellets, like because of gravity.
Thanos is gonna have to snap twice for that turd. Am I right? Stepping a little bit further back from the movie, I thought this movie accomplishes so much. I mean, I feel like we talked about this with Candyman too. Like it tries to do a
Candyman
lot.
2?
Candyman Electric Boogaloo. Oh, no,
2021.
2021. Is it? What's the name of that one? Candyman.
It's just called Candyman.
Just Candyman, right?
It's just like the next Scream. Halloween.
Oh yeah, they're just cutting everything now. It's just Nightmare.
Oh, it's just like it's the same title as the original, and so you're like, God damn.
Final Destination is just final.
And then even like in Halloween, there's like 3 Halloweens, but you need to know like Halloween 2021.
What's the last one? Halloween Ends or some shit,
It's
right?
Halloween 2018, Halloween Rob
2009,
Zombie, and then Halloween John Carpenter's. And so you're like, damn, they're all named the same thing.
And it's named after a holiday, so it's kind of confusing.
Sure.
Well, I feel like this movie. What was I saying? Oh, the Candyman. I feel like this movie definitely tries to accomplish a whole lot. Just like John said, that's why it's incredibly long.
And to be honest, yeah, exactly. I was like, it better because it's 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I feel like that it does do a lot of good, throughout the movie, especially towards the end. I felt like it was like starting to really pick up. I feel like a lot of the times you sit through a movie that is this long and you feel it a little more. I mean, you definitely do. I mean, I don't know how you do anything for 3 hours and not feel it.
You were dead as fuck
I was dead AF in the movie theater, but I'm
on Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm still really appreciative of what is accomplished in this film and a lot of the really fun moments. There are times when I was like, man, why'd they do that? But that was a little bit more. I mean, I don't know how much of that is me projecting, being like, wow, you cast Salma Hayek and you cast Kumail Nanjiani and Angelina Jolie.
Salma Hayek dies within the first 10 minutes.
And we're focusing on Sprite. Like I think a lot of that may be just me being like, whoa, all these big ass stars that have a lot of charisma and are great actors. Not to say that Sprite isn't good, but I'm like, whoa, they're gone.
Well, it's
Kumail gotta go.
Oh, shit.
Which happens in the movie, and I found out recently, listening to that BBC thing, I'm gonna have to do another, that he got a call 2 days into filming this that they wanted him for Obi-Wan, or what, is he in Obi-Wan?
Yes, he's in Obi-Wan.
In Obi-Wan, and so Disney was like, okay, we'll do whatever it takes to get you on that set,
And
baby.
then they wrote his ass out of the finale.
So I don't know if that's legit what happened, but like they actually wrote him out of the finale, but he said that he didn't know if he could do it, but then they made everything work for him.
I kept wanting him to come out and like be like this really cool hero thing. Because
I told Sophia, I watched it and I was like, oh, he's going to come back at the right moment
and then,
when
like,
it's time to move
it
at
would've
the end of
been-
the movie.
It would have been cool because like he's like, I play the hero in the movies, and then now I'm coming here and I'm the hero like here. And then it never happened. And I was like, what the
He
fuck?
helped her move.
Let's do an eternal roll call since before we get into that.
Okay, Shabuya. My name is Icarus.
Goddamn.
Shabuya.
So you do have Icarus, played by Richard Madden. You have
Traitor.
Hold on, I'm going to get a highlighter so we can go through this. I'm just kidding.
There's
Okay.
10. So
I
it's
know.
pretty easy. 10.
So
Icarus.
Icarus, played by Richard Madden.
Cersei.
Wait, are we
Cersei
talking
played
about
by
them? Or you're
Gemma
just,
Chan.
oh, it's a roll call. Okay.
Yeah, Gemma Chan,
Present.
You get Tina.
played by Angelina Jolie. Hold on, we need to get to this actress who plays Sprite. I don't know the
No,
name.
no,
I got it all here. Just
Okay,
keep going
so-
and I'll
so-
tell you what
so
I got.
Tina is 3. 4, Gilgamesh.
Played by Don Lee.
5, Sprite.
Yes.
Delphin.
What?
What's her
Oh,
name?
Leah McHugh.
Liam McHugh. Okay, cool.
6, Fastos.
Played by Brian Tyree Henry.
7, Druid.
Played by Barry Kogan.
Kogan, yeah.
8, Mercari.
Played by Lauren Ridloff.
Ridloff.
8, and 9, Kingo.
Kingo, played by Kumail Nanjiani.
And
Shabuya roll call.
10 is going to be Ajak.
Ajak, played by Salma Hayek.
Wow.
I got 'em all, yeah.
You got, okay, what's the name of the valet?
Kuran, played by
Close. It's Karun.
Karun.
Played by Harish Patel. No, Harish Patel. Let's see. And we did already kind of talk about Kit Harington as Dan or Dane Whitman.
Dane Whitman, the Black Knight.
The Black Knight. If,
But
you-
of
if
course,
you know the
he's
comics, you
kind
know
of-
he's the Black Knight.
He's kind of he bookends the movie. Let's
He's
say
also
that.
comedic relief.
Yes, like no need. And that was the other thing. Is,
want it.
this was supposed
Jon
to be
Snow.
a love triangle, and then I was like, and then they cut off one corner and said this is an Icarus
Cersei thing.
Cersei thing, and then triangle comes back at the end, but then the other end is gone. So really, it's a love line.
Yeah. You also get like
Wait.
extra characters. Obviously, you have Arishem, the judge.
True.
The,
We're not even done with the
Celestial.
characters.
Yeah.
Okay, keep
you
going.
have Crow, the deviant, played by
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård, which you had no idea. There was a holy shit. Sorry, I'm looking at the TV right now, and it's something totally different than what we're talking about. You have no idea his name is Crow because he never says the name in the movie.
Yeah.
You just know that Crow is the leader of the deviants in the comics,
and kind of projected as the quote unquote villain of
Him
the
and
movie.
Tom Servo, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
what?
Crow.
Oh, Crow.
Yeah.
I gotcha. It's in marketing. It seems like he's the main villain,
But there's kind of like three villains.
there's
in
three
this
villains
one.
in this flick.
Kit Harington, traitor. Icarus. I'm sorry. Richard Madden.
Oh,
Icarus.
sorry.
damn! You
traitor.
really don't like.
You get Arishem to kind of an extent. He's like, hey, the planet's it's got to blow up like it's an egg. And
Yeah,
then,
Ultimate
and
Celestial,
then
yeah.
3 is Crow. But even then, I like what they did with Crow because Gilgamesh kind of has a thing for Athena. Again, the Eternals they love.
And she's what did they call it? When she's mad,
She's like fractured or something, or
Nah,
what's
yeah,
it
there's
called?
a weird name.
John, what's it called? John, where
where Athena's kind of like she's kind of
Mad
lost,
weary or something
mad
like that,
weary.
yeah.
yeah, and so basically,
like a
you end up
space-
finding out that
Yeah, I'm kind of mad weary right now.
you end up finding out that the Eternals they don't have a home world. They were creative, and
Yep.
they
They're
have
robots.
they keep getting their memories erased as
Which is-
for
this
every
is-
planet that they do.
This is the sorry to cut you off. It's just this is the difference from what the comics is. They
Yeah,
literally
and-
took a lot of liberties with what the Eternals were in the comics.
This is an existential
And
crisis.
To be honest, I kind of dig this like modern interpretation of it. I do like it, but I think it. Damn, I don't know why I brought this whole thing up, but why they were. Oh,
No, because Crow and Athena have
yeah, and so she's freaking out, and so Gilgamesh has to calm her down, and so he loves her, and so he does that, and when Crow ultimately kills Gilgamesh, spoiler alert, a couple of these Eternals die. Damn, when he kills Gilgamesh and sucks him off and sucks him in. He becomes a little bit of part of him, and then he likes Athena because he's Gilgamesh, and
Yeah.
you're like,
are
damn, that's
more
what,
empathetic.
well, and that's
not-
what happens
yeah.
in the comics, where Athena and Crow are an item.
Well, they're kind of an item in this.
She kind of uses it to trick him, and then chops off his head.
Yeah,
she's kind of like a Black Widow
sliced.
spider.
Yeah.
She's, oh no, a praying mantis. There you go.
Well, we're looking at this cast. I guess we can go through some of the really big stand. We already talked about Kumail a little bit.
Yeah, Kingo is kind of like a comedic relief.
Andrew, it's your favorite,
He's
right?
my favorite one.
It's also really cool, like physically and the way his powers work. And
Oh, what they meant because he got hot as hell.
He was actually so in that Sexiest Man Alive countdown. He was on there, and I was like, damn, I'm proud of him.
Although I will say,
He started on G4. We're watching G4.
How come everyone else got a shirtless scene in the MCU? And you got Kumail over there,
a
looking
lot of
hot
people
as hell.
kind of say that, and I don't think it was really necessary. but
No,
whatever.
no,
Like,
I need it.
okay.
I think it's cool because
Come here, John. I need it.
I think it's cool because it adds to his character. So like it's part of his research for him.
Yeah,
Where, like,
yeah,
I'm not going
exactly.
to be shirtless, but I want to be a
Strong,
fucking
yeah,
superhero.
yeah,
like I want to
exactly,
be this. I want to be fucking Jack, baby. And I bet you Emily, she's probably loving it.
Why are you laughing? Yeah, I bet she does.
She's like, oh fuck, daddy.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, Kumail, and then of course we already talked about him dipping.
I was like, fuck.
I like that the dipping aspect of it.
Dip?
Like, I think you were talking about like, I thought it was ballsy.
Well,
It's
and
just like
then
it's
it's
also
all-
like it's unconventional
Oh,
because
okay.
you don't see it.
It's fucking human. Or like you're there and you're like, anxiety. And you just get out.
Yeah,
of
how
it.
many times have you quit a job just because you didn't want to be there?
Never. Is that what?
that a thing? Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you're not human, Dolphin?
Sorry,
Eternal.
guys. I could have stopped the Holocaust, but I didn't. Like the Eternals. What? It's true.
That's
That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about like
it's legit one of the biggest parts of the movie.
Captain America kind of stops the Germans though.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't need the Eternals for that.
Red School.
We've got we'll end with the kind of the main Eternals, I guess. But Leah Mchugh is Sprite, a 12-year. I actually like the way
Soda.
that Sprite soda, Mountain Dew. I kind of
Sierra. I prefer Sierra Mist.
like what's the Hill Country Fair version? just bubble.
Lemon light. Lemon light.
7-Up.
But so her character is really interesting, and I actually like how it ended because she gets turned. We won't dive too
turned.
deep into the plot of this because I guess
Because you should have seen it already if you're listening to
like
this.
Cersei
There's a lot.
absorbs the power, and she has like one last
The
wish,
Unimind, yeah,
right? In an
Unimind,
interesting
yeah.
way. But she
The
does
Unimind's
turn
the thing for the
Sprite into a human,
Which
is
lets her age.
What's her age? Which I think is good because it sounds like she's going to be in whatever the next thing is, and they don't have to keep her a 12-year-old, which is I guess good. But I mean, like there's going to be a human hanging out with him.
And then boom, no, she's Frances McDormand from Nomadland.
Oh my god, shit! Talking about shit in buckets.
Oh yeah, well I like that actually. There's
Disney Plus
again,
series on her just aging out and dying.
I think
Hello?
jokes aside, like the human conflicts
We're
that
not
each of
joking.
the Eternals have. Yeah, I mean, you literally just made a Frances McDormand joke.
I'm not joking. She needs to be in this movie. I would like for God, who's the guy that made Dazed and Confused?
Linklater?
Linklater.
I want Richard Linklater to
To make
shoot,
the next Eternals 2?
yeah, an Eternals movie that takes 40 years to make with Sprite, just like
It just takes
Boyhood.
7,000 years. He's
But
doing it.
that's a good idea, though, to be honest.
You hear me, Richard Linklater?
Linklater?
I like that.
Linklater?
Sprite was one of the coolest characters because, in my opinion, because of the fact that like,
She was like Loki. She can like Frigga. She
well,
can
it's also
turn
like,
shit
also
into-
yeah, there's hints that she probably could have taught Loki the tricks.
It's true.
Possibly
Maybe. How old are these motherfuckers?
7,000,
7,000
How
years
old is
old.
Loki? Loki's probably older.
4,000, 3,000.
Age is
How
differently
old is
out
Thor?
there.
Yeah, I thought
I don't-
Time
Thor
is
is- I
relative.
don't
Time
know.
is a man-made construct.
1,500.
Yeah.
1,500.
Yeah,
is
let me
Thor.
ask Siri.
Anyway, but like, because I think one of the really coolest scenes is when Sprite is talking to a guy at a bar in the beginning of the movie, and she has a projection. She aged herself up. You remember that
yeah,
scene?
yeah.
That's really cool. And then like,
Her power is very cool.
but the fact that like you can tell that this is an internal conflict that like she's lived her entire life like
As a child.
and it kind of sucks. So having her turn into a human at the very end is really cool. Kind of satisfying like character arc for that character.
I
And
wonder-
also she
deserves to die because she
cheated.
traded.
She ducked out. Like, when Irisham comes in and brings the Eternals,
Yeah.
they're like, oh shit, yeah, fuck Sprite.
When
She's like,
also, she kind of like...
She turns, too.
She did it for some ass. She was like, hey, I love this guy, so I'm going to betray you guys too.
oh yeah,
And
you're
like,
right.
what
You're
the-
right. You're totally right.
Damn.
I was confused for a second there.
I was like,
She's
I
like, fuck this family. I'm going to go
Icarus,
get some ass.
Let's talk about some of the other. I guess one of the other the leader of the Eternals, at least in the beginning, is Ajak, played by Salma Hayek, who. I guess her death is kind of one of the inciting incidences because this movie has a very familiar story structure in that it's kind of like a let's get the band back together, baby, and let's learn about each other.
Why'd you say like Nandor from... What we do in the shadows, baby?
Well, it
the
is like-
dream team, baby.
I feel like when people, and I don't know, I really don't know, but when people use the words like formulaic and, that kind of stuff, I feel like maybe they're just feeling like they've seen this before, but a lot of movies are like that. But the inciting incidents is Ajak dying. What did you think about her? She I think, is a really big get for Marvel. She's a fantastic actress, and I think that I think that it seems like she is a steward of the Eternals through these last 7,000 years, and maybe one of the ones who is changing her mind about the apathy. Because after the Thanos snap, she basically says, like, maybe we should actually intervene a little more, and that's what triggers Icarus, I guess. But what do you think about Salma Hayek and her, I guess, her character Ajak, who dies?
I thought she was. I really kind of wish they had more for her to do in the movie. She was in it very briefly. I do think that the character from what we got was really cool.
Isn't Ajak a soap? Ajax?
No, that's Ajax.
Okay. Sorry.
AJ, like you're talking about Deadpool?
The Deadpool villain Ajax.
No, I was talking about soap.
Yeah.
Isn't that a brand
Yeah,
of soap?
They
Yeah,
make
it's-
that joke
that
in
joke
Deadpool.
in
also.
Deadpool.
Okay.
You
But
just
this is
rip it off.
Ajak.
Ajak.
This is different.
A-J-A-K.
Singular.
Okay.
A Jack.
Of all trades.
A Jacko.
I kind of I liked her in the role. I think she really had more. I don't know if I have much to say on the fact that, other than the fact that she was really good with what she got, I guess. I mean, I think in terms of the character in the comics has also been I think it's multiple people who are Ajax in the comics. Like it's kind of like different
Unimind.
folk.
No, I'm just kidding.
But they also communicate with Celestials in the comics. So like I think Ajax having her be like this person who talks to Arishem is pretty cool. I do think it's yeah, I think that had to happen for it to be like some sort of internal family dispute, where like Icarus, turns bad and stuff. Yeah, someone had to get the boot, and I think it was hinted at in the trailers that Ajax doesn't really stick around for like some of the meatier parts.
Yeah,
of
we
the
just know
movie.
she's on a farm.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so
also like that's probably why there's a reason that there's 10. I don't know. It's one of those things where like when you see a horror movie, you have your two main characters, and then you see like 10 more people follow them, and you're like, damn,
They're all
these 10 people are gonna die.
Gonna die.
And so it's
Bodies.
the same thing with these like. There's a reason why there's 10 Eternals because we're gonna cut it down, and by the end, one doesn't have their powers, two are dead, and now there's only 7 or 8 Eternals.
There's a lot of internal dispute in the Eternal comics. If I'm not
internal
mistaken.
Eternals?
and there's different Eternals too. That like the Eternals aren't just 6 people.
Oh, there's a lot.
There's a
Like,
ton of
it's like
Eternals.
almost like
and
X-Men.
they allude to that
Yeah,
in this movie too.
Yeah.
Star Fox.
But they're also they
There's a
fight
lot.
amongst themselves in the comics too. Like they're always like fighting amongst themselves, and so like that bringing that aspect to the movie, I think was really cool because I think maybe people may have been expecting like if they didn't know who these people were, they were probably expecting like a Guardians type of movie where they just they have some arguments,
Yeah.
not so much real fights with each other, but they have some arguments and then they come together at the very end and fight the
Yeah.
villain. In this case, it was very complex because they're fighting one of their own and they're fighting a celestial, they're fighting a
And
deviant.
they kind of got depowered too because in the comics, all of them can fly and all of them have super strength and
All
all
of
of
them
them
have super strength.
are
Or Icarus, basically.
Yeah, and
they're
so
all of them are Icarus.
all of them are Icarus.
Yeah, and so it's they kind of modernized it here, but no, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, Ajax was pretty cool. I guess who's the next one? Yeah.
And her death is kind of the mystery
R.I.P.
that has to unfold and really one of the biggest turning
And-
points
and
of everything.
I think a lot of it is balancing too between the 10, and so like Angelina fucking Jolie is in this movie, and it should be a bigger deal. She's in the MCU,
Yeah.
this and that.
And
she's muscle
Well, we
in
can
this
talk
movie.
about her next,
exactly.
Thina. But yeah.
And so it's one of those things where she doesn't even feel like she has a big role, but that's because you need to balance 10 to 12 characters because you're including Kit Harington and the people who aren't Eternals too.
And I think she's great. I mean, I feel like one of the things that I've heard after the movie came out is she thought this was a cameo, really, and that the only reason her, Salma Hayek, a lot of these really fantastic actors are in this movie is because of Chloe Zhao, and they've seen her other work, and they're like, I want to work with you.
her, yeah.
And I mean, that's really the only reason why Angelina Jolie, I think, would be in the MCU.
Well, and they asked her, they're like, "Hey, do you want to do a solo movie?" And she says, "No."
No.
And she's like, "I want to like if
I don't
Chloe
need
Zhao
this.
wants to do a sequel, let's do a sequel."
I don't think I need this MCU, but I feel like one of the things is she totally committed because I think she may be one of the best fighters in the movie to see, like,
Right,
and
yeah.
in terms of like choreography
Visuals, yeah.
and visually, because a lot of these Eternals have almost you can't see the power in an interesting way. Like it's just
they're not real physical.
they're
Like,
not real
they either
physical,
shoot
but
lasers
she
or
is
something. Yeah.
in a really cool way. But yeah, I felt like she definitely. I mean, what is this? This isn't breaking news that Angelina Jolie has screen presence, like she does.
Yeah, definitely.
And I felt like her relationship with the rest seemed kind of like kind of like a jaded matriarch in a weird way, or like a veteran. And she does have that. I want to say moon blink, but that's from Owls of Gaul. What is she?
It's the Guardians of Gaul.
Guardians of Gaul. What did she said? Weary?
Mad weary?
She's mad weary, and I think that's interesting, especially for her character to have that. And then by the end of the movie, it seems like she's kind of the de facto leader of that group of Eternals. Does that make sense? Eternals, because I think she's maybe the most senior and the most powerful of that little
Yeah, definitely.
traveling party. But yeah, I think she's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about Brian. sorry. There's a lot of characters. Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Phastos.
Paper boy.
One of
All about that
the
paper
most
boy.
conflicted Eternals because he has
definitely.
a family.
Probably
Toretto.
the most human Eternal in this movie because
He was so cool.
I think Gemma Chan is like the second. I mean, because it's hammered into you that Gemma Chan loves humans. She
Yeah.
loves
She's
humans.
banging one.
Literally since the beginning
Sex
of time.
scene during.
Yeah.
Oh no, is that her and Icarus?
Yeah,
or-
that's Icarus.
Oh damn it! I was like, her and Kit Harington have a sex scene. but
Implied.
I got the Starks mixed up. My bad. Not the Tony Stark either. I'm talking about Winter. No, it's not the Knight who took the black. It's the Black Knight.
Yeah, both Starks. It's Jon Snow and Robb Stark. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so Brian Tyree Henry Phastos, great character. I mean, people are like, I know there's people online shitting on it because he's got a kiss scene with a guy and stuff, but the fact that he has a human, the fact that he has a very human like storyline. He has a family, he has a husband, he has a son, and he doesn't want to do anything other than just hang with them, like just be with them, is really cool. And the reason he goes on this world-ending mission,
he fucking saves the world for his family.
Yeah,
and you're like, this is the only it's not even the Eternals family either.
He straight up says, he's like, I don't serve Arishem at all. He's like, I do my own shit, and then like, and it pisses.
I left the faith.
It pisses Icarus off. He's like, we're Eternals. We're supposed to be doing this shit. And
we're soldiers.
It's he's great. And then also he's got some comedic timing in the movie, which is great. He's a funny guy. Like, he's got comedic chops.
Yeah.
So
Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Comedic
and,
chops.
in Atlanta and stuff.
But mostly Godzilla versus Kong.
Well, even in this,
huge.
He calls Icarus Clark after his son calls him Superman and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's totally hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like you wouldn't think because of his powers, because he's
engineering.
As an engineer.
He's
like
the fucking nerd of the group. It's the nerd
like
of the
a
group.
technopath or something.
And then
like
suddenly, he's the one who puts down Icarus, and you're like, oh, god damn.
Cut to atomic bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
I mean, it
goes there.
And then that was so
I think
sad.
it goes there. That's a sad part. I think people are kind of, when they bring that out, I think it's actually out of bad faith, in my opinion. Like, it's kind of like a little, I don't know, like, it's just like you're digging for something that you really want to be pissed off about in this case. And in this case, the movie addresses how fucked up it is.
Yeah,
I think it addresses it with that scene. But during that performance, you can really feel his pain during that. And it's just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, that's the reason he walked away.
I think it also plays into, like, they're influencing humanity, but they're not helping with the things that they're influencing, you know? And so that's a big part of the movie the entire time, and I think it plays into that. But he kills it, and you can't help but be really, really happy to see these actors like Kumail Nanjiani and what's his name,
Brian Tyree Henry.
Because they're sharing the stage with Selma Hayek and Angelina Jolie, and they're getting to work with Chloe Zhao on a super big MCU blockbuster, and this is like the biggest movie making ever gets in the modern era, and just really, really happy for him, and I think it's what
you actually feel more sad for. I felt saddest for Fastos when he was taken by Arishem at the very end. Like, I mean, what Kingo? What, he didn't get to make another movie? And sure, Cersei didn't get some ass with Black Knight there, but like Fastos was pulled away from his family. Like,
yeah,
that's the sad part.
He's
like,
the most settled of them, and maybe the most satisfied with the life that he leads now.
Yeah.
But I think that I mean, in terms of decisions, he makes one of the toughest ones because he has something to lose compared to everyone else. But it's actually crazy. When we went to Avengers Campus, they had Fastos. Fastos is already a character.
I know. I like, and he told us to pose like him, and I posed like Kingo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Hey, send me that picture.
Why are you?
I forgot.
Why are you a dick to Fastos?
I just love Kingo.
And it's important to note that in this really big cast, he is the first gay superhero in the MCU, and I would say central character.
Yeah, it feels kind of natural, unlike that certain Russo brother.
Okay, yeah,
I know.
I have to play it myself. No one can portray this other than me. Sorry. Let's talk about. Honestly, maybe this is a hot take.
Oh, here it
I
comes.
think the best relationship in this movie is between Druid and Makari. But let's talk about Lauren Ridloff, who plays Makari.
I don't know. I think that came out of nowhere, but whatever.
A tough character. She moves at superhuman speed. I would say it's an often replicated superpower in all of.
But to be honest,
Superheroes. Yeah,
she's the one that whips ass the most. Like she has some of the probably
Visually,
she has the best action sequences. She gives Icarus the business, like hard. In the
no, I liked her character a lot. She's living on the ship, right? Like
she's just reading books.
She's reading books.
They probably have every book. Ever
existed. I feel
you think
like
she gets a headache by reading them that fast.
And she's probably instantly one of the smartest Eternals because of how
much she knows.
She's consuming.
That'd be interesting if she does read really fast. I feel like I hope that they, in whatever, even if it's not like a mainline Eternals movie, in whatever they're in, I hope they give more time to her. Obviously, the movie has 10 characters.
Disney
but
Plus
should be. I was like, man, I feel like of one of the most interesting characters in the movie, and it's hard to split up the time, I guess, but I feel like let's even it out a little bit in the next thing she's in because I think
Yeah.
her character's good.
I mean,
I think she might have been the most underwritten
Yeah.
Eternal in this movie, and which is a shame because like I think anytime she was on screen, it was a joy to be around her. Like,
Yeah.
what were you
man,
saying?
I told you Disney Plus is that you want content?
Yeah.
Just give me 10 fucking shows of all following all different Eternals.
Let's get her and Quicksilver racing.
I think she might win.
I want.
She might win.
and I
She's a robot.
Yeah, because there's one Quicksilver's dead, and then the other one's fake.
It's true.
Pietro, fake
She's
Pietro,
be racing
a regular man.
dead body, yeah, on Sokovia. Remember that country? That was fun, right?
Cornucopia.
Remember when you were worried about Sokovia?
Where were those Eternals? Where
there's
were the Eternals there?
Where were the Eternals during Sokovia? The Flag Smashers
Wait,
would
so
be
I bet
pissed.
I bet you a piece of that island came up, and you see like the Eternal that's living in the Earth's
Wait, does
eye,
that
like,
mean Infinite Ultron killed like the Eternals and the Celestial?
He must have,
Yeah.
in all of these universes. I don't know. Let's talk about Druid, who I think is my favorite, just in terms of like cool factor. I think because he
he was in the Green Knight.
played by Barry Coogan. I don't know how to say his last name. Coogan. They describe him as an aloof Eternal who can manipulate the minds of other. He's aloof. There's a lot of characters in this that are aloof.
His superpower, guns.
No, but he's really, I think, fun, and I love the relationship that he has with Makari, and I think that there's that cool sequence, of course, where he has a little fascist little corner of the universe where he's controlling everyone's mind.
He makes a cult.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like that's kind of crazy. Like
Get me
that's
into
one
that
of the
cult,
darkest
baby.
Parts of this movie that isn't really addressed again. I think I'm glad that he leaves it. Like, and he just leaves it.
Polygamy.
But he literally just like what?
I accidentally licked my mic.
Oh, he literally just I don't know. He takes a group of people and then like raises them like cattle, almost like
but
for
also,
a while.
those
Like,
people are safe. And
Sort of.
and also
They don't have free
one would
will,
Call,
like
one
the
would
way-
call them pets.
Well,
too.
that's the complicated part of this is each Eternal is given this task, this faith of whatever, protecting humanity, and they all do it a little differently, and some
And-
of them stop doing it,
Well,
but
yeah.
he does it
I think
in a different way.
Genuinely, it fucks him up though. That's why.
Yeah.
Because like it scars him, like the years of not doing anything, and like he even tells Ajax like this is fucking me up. Like
Yeah.
of just watching
Yeah.
these people like kill each other in drones with the stuff that we gave them and stuff like that. So. And you know, and I think that's why his relationship with Mercari means so much because that's the human part of him. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, he does like it's not the god who's like I can fix everything and stuff like that. It's like an actual real.
Well, I think that's why I
relationship.
really liked it because you know that they may be. I mean, 7,000 years is a really long time, and I don't know where they are. And you know, if it's when they're friendship or whatever. And I feel like it was the biggest question mark. I feel like with Icarus and Cersei. I mean, it was kind of the end, and you know, they're just kind of rehashing the end of their love story. Does that make sense?
Right.
And here was something fresh and new, and I was like, oh, this to me seems a little more hopeful.
And all these Eternals just be banging each other.
They should.
There's like
as
love,
they should be.
There's love triangles, and then there's like it's like a square because Sprite's in there
A
too.
dodecahedron.
I just realized randomly. I mean, this
Gilgamesh
is obviously
and
not
Dina
related to this,
and
but
Makari and Druid.
in the Marvel Zombies universe, when the zombies
What the fuck?
spread plague, when the zombie plague spreads, it spreads to the Eternals too. It's crazy.
Okay. Well, speaking
terrible.
of Wait, you said Gilgamesh. Speaking of dead things coming back, maybe this works. Gilgamesh is played by Don Lee. Yeah, he's the first Korean superhero, but honestly, and maybe the strongest punch, right? In the Eternals.
Yeah.
He dies.
He does die.
You know, we talked about Ridloff being kind of underserved, but I think this is also one of those things where
Oh, totally.
he's
Yeah.
in it for a moment
He has
and he's
a-
gone, and
he's
then
funny.
they switch his voice. They hired Bill Skarsgård, It the Clown, to be the Ro. What's the name? Go
Don't you like clowns? But
Georgie.
damn, I forgot what I was saying. It's gone.
Don Lee. Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Yeah.
Oh, he's funny when he comes out
He
with the
is
apron.
funny. Yeah, I
it's
like
fucking
that.
hilarious.
I like
Yeah,
that.
he's good.
And he seems kind of like a, I don't know, like a big brother, almost like a like a kind of like a father figure, sort of, almost in a way, to the Eternals, or like maybe like a very goofy brother. I think he was cool with what he had. I was kind of sad that they didn't write him in as much.
And
He does
really
have
no
some-
future for his character, right?
Yeah, like I think I really do like his sequences, like his action sequences. Basically, all there for the action. It's just a shame just thinking about the role because he was really cool in Train to Busan. And that's the movie that I saw him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been better in more scenes, I guess. But I don't know At
Yeah,
this
it's
point,
hard
the,
to fit.
the movie's going to
Yeah.
be like 5 hours long at
You're
this
like,
point.
you know, we've got these characters, and I think we've talked about like 3 or 4 that we were like, man, I wish we had seen more of them because it seems like the vignettes that we saw were incredibly interesting. Sometimes overpoweringly more than the stuff that we were seeing, and we're like, man, I really wish we spent more time with them. But yeah, I don't know where. I couldn't even tell you where to squeeze that time, other than the next thing that they're in, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about some of these relationships that take a lot of time, and in this movie, the main characters. Well, let's talk about Icarus because I feel like he may be even secondary to Cersei, but Richard Madden plays Icarus. I guess the one who is the most faithful to whatever
mission
they're on, which is really interesting. I mean, he is the Superman. He is the most powerful guy. And by the end of the movie, I believe he kind of sees that he's wrong and
commits
himself?
suicide, which is kind of a dark little thing for an MCU.
Flies into the sun, right?
Yeah,
but does he die? I don't know. Will that kill you? I don't know.
I think it will.
Okay. All right. Well, what did you think about Icarus? I mean, it's
Is he just living in there?
A little on the nose. His name is Icarus. You kind of were like, okay, something's
too
gonna
close to the sun, huh?
Did you feel kind of that? I mean, there's definitely a broodiness to him, and maybe a lot of unknown. But do you think that turn where he reveals that he killed Ajax? What did you feel about his character? And I guess in the middle of this, he's in love too.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Richard Madden is a great actor. The chemistry in some of these scenes felt a little off.
Yeah.
Just from my second viewing, where I'm just kind of like, you can tell he's acting his heart out. I'm not like, doubting his skill or anything. I just think like maybe you might have been mispaired with, I want to say maybe Gemma Chan and
Sprite,
possibly like Ajax, maybe.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, he has that dude can act because like you can totally tell. As far as the character goes, like he's really even when like when he leads to Ajax's death, like he has like a pouting scene, like he gets really pissed off and like shoots like his eye lasers everywhere.
He was making it seem like the
pissed off.
deviants killed her.
And Zhao said the inspiration is Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and that kind of broody moodiness of
it makes sense. This is where that type of character is used right in this movie.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
but yeah, no, I thought Madden's really, really cool. I even like his look. I mean, and at first I remember seeing like promo images and the toys and figures and stuff, and I was like, man, I don't think I like how plain their costumes were. But towards the end, I was like, damn,
it's Jack Kirby as fuck. It's all circles.
I was like,
with
damn,
lines
I'm gonna be an Eternal for Halloween.
That's what Jack Kirby is, right? It's just like circles with lines and circles.
Yeah,
like, that's all it is. Like,
really, really cool. I liked his look. I even liked they even gave him a little bit of gray hair. His overall design,
twinge.
Yeah. They're like a little hint of Reed Richards here. But
a little bit of stress.
And then the heat vision. He's got some really, really cool fight sequences because he's fucking Superman. And
he can fly.
The IMAX sequences in the movie, especially at the Chinese theater in Hollywood, was bonkers because the screen is just so ginormous that
it really made my headache feel bigger.
Yeah,
something about the IMAX screen that makes your headaches
feel like Ashram.
feel like Ashram.
I was fucking wet.
Crickets. No, just saying. Icarus. Yes, I think when it comes to action sequences, Drew's right. I think it's probably the most exciting.
He fights. I think he fights more deviants than anyone else.
I know it's not Richard Madden. I know it's CGI.
Yeah.
But
but he's not flying around up there.
Dope.
Yeah, I mean it's really cool because to see him. Yeah, he does fight the most deviants. He kills the most. He rips like a wing off of one and then like just like shoots the other one in the ground. He takes out poor Druid in like one eye blast of a shot.
And it takes all of them kind of towards the end to even
it's
get
so
him
badass.
down.
His fight with Makari is just so great. Like it's amazing.
Even Fastos. I was like, damn.
Yeah, Fastos pins him down a little bit.
Athena, I would have loved to have seen him fight Gilgamesh.
I think Icarus is like, the tragedy of, I think, isn't that the story? The tragedy of Icarus?
Yeah,
to
but
the sun. And then he does it at the end.
I think,
he flies into the sun, I guess. But I just kind of don't understand what too close is kind of more is when Icarus was really ambitious about the wings that he builds in the Greek mythology.
Wouldn't you say that's this? He's too ambitious about the wings of God or Ashram?
He flies into the sun. I think that's where it ends.
Yeah,
to be honest.
But
also,
that's a sad story.
But to be honest, I think that's open ended. Like it's gonna be Superman, where like he's just living in the sun. And
I
he
know.
comes out and he's like,
he's even hotter now.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
He's like, I have no clothes.
I think it's like
burnt.
Well, apparently these suns were created by celestial, so maybe
Yeah.
they're all something different altogether.
Maybe
Like,
there's a celestial in the sun.
but really cool. I think the Skeeter Davis song "End of the World" that plays. I think that's kind of, if you listen to the lyrics, I think that's also
Him.
like the lyrics of that song are kind of talking about him and Cersei in a way.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Cersei, Gemma Chan, who is, I believe, the main character of this
character of the
movie.
movie, yeah.
Everything is kind of set around her. She's the first Asian female lead, and really she is the leader after Ajax by the end of this, because her role is to convince people that even though we were made to be disposed of, basically, even though our lives don't mean anything and humanity always fucks up, we still have to do good, or whatever that means. She has that moment at the end where she does have to step up. But what did you think about Cersei? Which I just think it's weird that there's all this Game of Thrones stuff.
The names.
Stark, Cersei, the actors. What's going on? I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But what do you think about Cersei?
I thought she was great. I think Gemma Chan puts on a great performance. I think she, I think it's whatever she's kind of fed. Like, I think she does her best with it. I'm really glad that they have her as the main character, though, because she obviously loves the humans the most. I think, with the exception of Phastos, which is introduced way late in the movie. But like,
Wait, she doesn't like Phastos?
no, I'm talking about like their love for humans. I guess.
Oh, I see
Like,
it.
Phastos comes like because at one point I thought the movie was getting into its third act, and I was like, oh shit, we still got like 2 more characters
Yeah,
that we need
yeah.
to touch upon. So like I think Cersei having that is really cool, and then having her pair up with Dane Whitman, who will eventually become the Black Knight, is awesome. I kind of do feel that maybe this is obviously a better role than what she had in Gemma Chan was also in Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
She played Minerva. But she really shines in this one, I feel like. I also kind of do think she wasn't too conflicted by the very end. It seems like she kind of knew what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, great. I mean, yeah, like I think it was a pretty great role. I think as the leader of the Eternals moving forward, she's obviously has a very important role to play in the future of the Marvel Universe. I think if any Eternal is going to come back, it's probably her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And maybe the other ones too. Obviously, the surviving ones will probably all make an appearance at one point. Maybe Guardians or something.
Yeah.
Especially like at the very end, Pip the Elf or something will probably make a Guardians appearance.
Yeah.
But I think she will be the central Eternal that is dealt with from here on out when it comes to what the story is going forward and their place in the MCU.
And there is a direct, and this is kind of jumping towards the end of this movie, Arasham does take her
And talks directly to her, basically, yeah.
and
And
Kingo.
Yeah.
And he will spare humanity based on their
their memories.
And so
And
really,
if he sees Twitter, he's
know.
he's spiking that earth like a volleyball.
I'm and it makes
Or
sense.
the 2016 election, he's just gonna be like, boo!
All of the just get rid of it. Who cares? I feel like there's a lot of it that now rides on her 7,000 years of empathy towards humans, which we have to understand is strong enough that she breaks up with Icarus. That makes it seem like such a small thing. Breaks up with Icarus and does what she does at the end. Is this incredibly strong
Man named Kit Harington. She does
no,
him at
love
the end.
for humanity, and I think that's kind of interesting. It's also funny how the rest of the ones who are kind of over Earth left just in time, because if
Arasham would've grabbed
if he grabbed them, he'd probably just be like, "Damn, this place sucks." So I'm glad that they didn't stick around. But yeah, what do you think about Cersei, Andrew?
She was cool. I thought it was really funny because, again, working at a comic book store, we're talking about it, and people are like, "Man, I love this character so much, and I hope that they do it justice and stuff like that." And they're like, and one specifically is this guy we hired. His name is EJ. He's really he's got
Name drop on the podcast.
yeah.
Crazy.
It's funny because he loves
An hour in,
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, he loves the Eternals, and he was like, "I'm gonna be Phastos for Halloween," and this and that. And so he really loves the character Cersei, and he was like, "Man, I hope they didn't butcher her and stuff like that." And she has like she took down Galactus one time, and she did all this by herself, and so it's really cool to see her be the one to stop the Eternal from coming out of the planet. Yeah, and you get
the big Eternal.
little hints of it where she's like, I can't transmutate like living organisms and stuff like that. She can turn anything else into whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But she can't do it to actual living, breathing creatures. And she does it to
Sprite.
Yeah. Oh no, she does it to a deviant.
Oh yeah.
In the
And she had a little left over for Sprite.
Yeah, and then she ends up doing it to obviously an Eternal, which is like the biggest form of life. It looks like.
I would have written it to where Sprite was like, "Can you just kill me?"
I was like, "Can you just make me older?
Can you
let
imagine?
me age, and then that's it. Like, still be an Eternal.
Hold on, keep me an Eternal.
Hey, make me, yeah, exactly.
She's like, I only have one more wish. I'd be like, damn. Wish for more wishes. Like, just, what are you doing? This is like the easiest thing in the world. All right, here's what we're going to do. We just talked about the entire cast. That took an hour. But we are going to play a really fun trivia game. We'll come back with some of our final thoughts on Eternals.
Only 11% on my phone.
Welcome back to the pod.
shit.
We are going to play the Eternals trivia game because apparently this is something we do for every single MCU movie, but we are not going to use, I already forgot the name of that program.
Kahoot.
Kahoot. We're not going to use Kahoot.
Yeah, this is a first.
Instead, we're going to use text.
Oh,
Sex.
shit.
SMS text messaging.
John's only got 11%.
I know, and you know what? If your phone dies,
Then I win.
then Andrew wins. So
Whoever wins.
I win.
Yeah. And,
Whoever wins, me.
I'm going to be asking you trivia questions about each Eternal and 10 questions for each Eternal. So that's 100 questions. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? Oh my God. Can you imagine being like the costume designer for this? And then they're like, hey,
Kit Harington's outfit was my favorite. And
we
it's just
got, we got a
just
lot.
khakis.
I'm going to be reading some trivia on this movie. Ooh, The Eternals, the movie that just came out.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Dark elves. Ooh.
And John and Andrew in the studio will be texting me their answers, and I will keep track via math.
This ain't no studio, it's my house.
Get out of the studio. Okay, here we go. Here's the first question. Oh, John, Andrew, you'll text me separately, and then for each one you get correct, you get a point. And listeners at home, feel free to play along. Here's the first question. This other Godzilla vs. Kong actor or actress was rumored to have a role in the film, so much so that they had to deny it in the press. So this other Godzilla vs. Kong actor or actress was rumored to have a role in this film, and I guess the rumor, we know how hard rumors go, and they had to deny it.
Looking at you, Spider-Man.
Both of you get a point because that actor was Millie Bobby Brown. I guess it's Sprite.
Probably.
Does that make sense?
I would assume,
Maybe.
yeah.
As 12?
Oh no, I know. They're like, we have 12 Eternals. You're the 12th one. Here we go. Here's the next one. Angelina Jolie was also considered to play this other superhero inspired by a Greek god.
What?
No, forget that part. Angelina Jolie was also considered to play this other superhero.
Oh, shit. I have fucking no clue.
Angelina Jolie was also considered to play this
I don't know.
superhero. And honestly,
Superman.
she has been a superhero because Lara Croft, I think, is a superhero at this point.
Yeah, the Tomb Raider.
And Salt, she was Salt, right?
Yeah.
Salt's a
Also a spy
Mr.
movie.
and Mrs. Smith.
Mrs. Smith is superhero. John, you guessed Elektra. Andrew, you guessed Wonder Woman. Andrew, you get the point. She was going to be Wonder Woman in the Patty Jenkins version.
Wait, what's the song
Oh,
that
wow.
comes out in the Snyderverse?
That's Dune.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Same.
I already forgot. You know that they had to create like 3,000 sounds for Dune that were not digital. They actually, and like the sound designers are out there
Shakira, yeah.
Yeah. Foley?
trying to win an Oscar, but like there's sounds in it of like they had someone swallow a microphone or some shit, and that's the
Holy
sound
shit.
of the worm.
Rest in peace to that sound designer.
This was it.
They had him shit it out.
That's why in the movie when the sandworm comes out, it's Can you imagine that movie? They're like, damn, sandworm's choking. All right, here we go. Here's the next question. Brian Tyree Henry was also in 2 other superhero films. Name one of them.
Oh, fuck. Really?
Brian Tyree Henry. This is his 3rd superhero movie. Just name one of them and you get a point. If you name both of them, you get 2. That's what I'll say right now. I'm giving points out. I'm slinging them left and right. Brian Tyree Henry Fastos was
Hold
in
on.
a movie.
Fast ass.
2 of them, and these are big movies. I mean, I mean, was there like a underground superhero movie?
Yeah, Ghost Rider 2.
That was not underground. That
Yeah, but it was not a big movie.
high on my list. John. Oh, Andrew, you haven't guessed yet.
I don't know.
John guessed Venom, and Andrew, you guessed Lego Batman. Brian Tyree, none of you get a point because Brian Tyree Henry was in Into the Spider-Verse, and he was in the Oscar-winning film The Joker.
Was he?
Oh, wait, that's not even that version. Here's the next one. This is only the second MCU film to be released in 4K in theaters. What is the other?
Wait, say it again.
It's kind of nerdy. Maybe this is too nerdy. But this is only the second MCU film to be released in 4K in theaters. What was the other? What's really interesting, people are obsessed with 2K and 4K and all that shit. Most movie theaters only show 2K. Unless you're going to like a Dolby 4K or Sony whatever, you're seeing it in 2K. And this is the only movie to be released in 4K. Too many Ks, in my opinion. The other movie, John, you guessed Shang-Chi. Andrew, you guessed Endgame. The other movie was Black Widow. Okay, that wouldn't be Lizzie. Okay, here we go. I don't know. I guess I'll say this one. I guess we talked about this actor before, but in which Eternal was Armie Hammer considered to play?
Oh shit!
Armie Hammer
Was considered to play probably
this
the most obvious
Eternal.
one.
Who was that? Which Eternal eats people?
Jack.
Let's see. You both get a point because he was supposed to play Icarus, which is interesting. Has Armie Hammer been in a? Oh, I guess so.
I think
The
he was-
Lone Ranger.
Yeah, I guess Lone Ranger.
He was also cast as Batman in George Miller's Justice League.
Wow.
That never happened.
He was also the Winklevi.
yeah, the superhero of Facebook. Here we go. Here's the next one. This film is This film is the only Marvel film to gain an 18 plus age rating in this country due to its homosexual characters. This film is the only Marvel film to gain an 18 plus age rating, which basically rated R, in this country due to its homosexual characters. This one might be a little too political, but who cares?
Probably.
Let's cancel this country. John and Andrew, you both guessed similar answers. I'm not going to read it out loud, but you both get it wrong because the country is Russia.
Makes sense.
Homosexuality is illegal.
Makes sense.
It is illegal in Russia. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that is.
Get with it, Russia.
Get with it, Russia. Get out of town, Vladimir Putin.
Get out of our election process.
Although I will say, Russia, #1 country for listening to Countdown 10. Just kidding. Can you imagine? So, dos vidania to our friends.
I can't believe we probably have some listeners in Russia. We're probably like making fun of them.
Stay safe. Here we go. In America, speaking of ratings, only one other MCU film has a PG-13 rating for sequences. For sexual sequences. Which is it?
Say it again.
In America, only one other MCU film has a PG-13 rating for sexual sequences. I feel like you're both going to guess the same one, but it's going to be incorrect.
Pro-sex.
You both guessed Iron Man. The movie was The Incredible Hulk.
What the fuck?
Isn't that insane?
Oh, remember?
no
Because
fucking in
that's
there.
part of the actual
but still,
plot of the
yeah.
story. He's like, I can't.
Iron Man skirted around it. They just woke up together. They don't actually like...
All of these movies are
they rolled off the bed.
PG. All of these movies are PG. That is fucking
No.
insane.
No. This is just PG-13 for sexual
Oh,
scenes.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay.
That's why.
No, yeah, all of the MCU movies rated G.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what the
G
fuck?
string.
Rated E for everyone. All right, here's the next one. For which Eternal was Rami Malek, Keanu Reeves, and Luke Evans considered for this role by Seraphin Casting, who casts all these MCU shit? Which Eternal was, this is insane. Rami Malek, Keanu Reeves, and Luke Evans. Those are some big old names.
Yeah, I know. God damn. Hold on. Give me a second.
Andrew guessed Iron Man. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think I kind of knew. Just from the build. From the looks.
build.
From the build, as in from the build with their face.
You know what? I will say all of these people are similar in
like in the face.
in the face. Andrew guessed Kingo. John guessed Druid. John, you get a point. It's Druid.
It has to be
Damn.
Druid. Like they all have to be like soft spoken and.
I thought it was gonna be
Of
Gilgamesh.
this list,
Gilgamesh.
who do you think is the next to join the MCU? Rami Malek, Keanu Reeves, or Luke Evans?
Keanu Reeves.
No,
Luke Evans probably.
no.
Oh,
I mean,
I guess it's like in a
Luke
smaller
Evans is
role.
already in the Disney thing.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
he's
Luke
already,
Evans.
Luke
You're right.
Evans.
he's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
got the
'Cause
gas station thing.
Rami Malek was already in a Bond
No Time to
movie.
Die.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you're right.
I feel like Keanu Reeves, if he joined the MCU, it would have to be a pretty sizable.
Yeah, that's the
role.
thing. Is like you can't have people like
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves joining because he's got a lot
You know
of
who
power.
I would pay? I would want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade fighting Keanu Reeves. That'd be cool.
Ooh, as Deacon Frost. That'd be pretty
neat.
cool.
Hey, call me, Hollywood.
Yeah, Feige.
Feige.
Open invite.
Call me. All right, here we go. It's tie. John and Andrew both have 3. There's only 2 questions left, so this may end in a tie, like soccer.
Like these Eternals. They fight to a tie.
That's true. This movie ends in a weird tie, and then the group splits up anyways. In November of 2019, the Canary Islands set had to be evacuated due to the discovery of what? You're not going to get this. Some of this movie was shot in the Canary Islands.
Say it again.
And in November of 2019, the set had to be evacuated due to the discovery of what? You're not going to get this.
Yeah, definitely not.
I don't know why I wrote this, but who cares?
Hold on, I got one.
COVID.
all of our listeners in the Canary Islands are mad because they know
they're just
exactly
like,
what
the
this
fuck? How do you not know this?
They were there. If one of you guessed canaries, I'm going to be so pissed. Nobody did. Okay. Andrew said oil spill. John said a new species of scorpion.
That's very scary, and you can evacuate.
Damn, that's very specific.
I know. That's very specific. I think you've got Mortal Kombat on the
It's
mind.
like Matt Gargan from Spider-Man. I love that trailer.
know. Somebody just saw The Rock's Mummy.
Scorpion King.
I know. No, it's bomb remnants.
Oh, that's
Jeez.
pretty.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's very scary.
Final question. I
Like
feel like
mines, like landmine.
It's gonna land in a tie, isn't it?
remnants of a bomb. There's, I guess, a military base there, and they found some, and they had to evacuate the set.
Fucking hell, that's crazy.
Crazy, right? Okay, so
Fucking hell.
here's the final question. You should get. I would say both of you should get this right
But
No.
because Well, I'll tell you why.
Because the
Gemma.
answer
Here's
is-
the question. Gemma Chan also played a mystical, powerful character in this 2016 fantasy film that we covered on Revenge of the Sequel. That's right. There's an episode of us talking about this on Revenge of the Sequel.
fantasy character. I feel like you may
Gemma
have,
Chan also played a mystical, powerful character in this 2016 fantasy film.
Hold on, let me go through my Revenge of the Sequel.
I'm not going to tell you the
backlog.
name of the character. I think that
you
may...
said the year, and John's good at years, so he might get it.
2016.
2016.
But also, we talk about old movies in Revenge Sequel, so that doesn't exactly help that much.
No. Hold on. Like,
But we
let's see.
talked about this movie on Revenge of the Sequel.
2016 is
and I
the year of
checked it twice.
Ghostbusters, the year of the the original
and
Suicide
and it
Squad.
also has to be a sequel, obviously.
10
So-
Cloverfield Lane. Fuck, what else was that year? Let's see. You said fantasy?
2016. We talked about Revenge of the Sequel. Here's another. It's a pretty big IP.
I think I got it.
It's pretty big. I'll give you the name if it helps, but I won't. Because I don't know how well you know of this IP, both of you, so I don't know if I gave the
What's
name
the
if it'll help or
director
not.
of the movie?
No,
I'm not going to tell
don't-
you
yeah,
that.
don't do it.
I'm not going to tell you that.
I'm just gonna guess.
No, I'm not. No.
Just guess. I guessed. I didn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. Shit.
You're not going to guess.
I can't guess. I mean,
All right,
I
I'll
only
let
have
you
to-
both guess again. I'm going to say the name of the character, but I don't think this is going to help. But a lot of people who listen to this, or maybe Revenge of the Sequel, will know because it's a pretty big IP. Her character name is Madame Yazoo. Does not
It's
help.
a band.
right?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
like Yaz plays that song.
I will say I did not remember this movie much, although I want to watch it again.
Madam Yazoo.
And the other sequels in this.
Warcraft?
No. God, no.
It's not a sequel, John.
Oh. It's a sequel to My Heart.
I'm going to give you another clue. This is a prequel.
Fuck. I don't get it.
Okay.
Damn it.
Huge IP.
You know what's crazy is you're probably describing the genre to us wrong. As soon as you can say the movie, you're
No.
going to be like, nope, you that's not it.
What am I saying? Mystical, powerful character as Madame Yazoo in this 2016 film, which is a prequel to one of the biggest IPs of the last maybe 20 years. They're freaking out about this. I think that this is maybe a blind spot for both of you in terms of sequels. There's no way you did not see every single movie in this franchise, is what I'll say.
God damn.
Or at least there's actually,
Oh,
I
okay.
know
I
there's
think I
no
know,
way.
maybe. Wait,
There-
no.
There's 0% chance
I
that
don't know this
y'all have.
shit.
Okay, here we go.
done
I'm going
with
to tell you.
this.
Ready?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
The film, and I guess it ends in a tie. Andrew guessed Hellboy at the end, is Fantastic Beasts
Beast.
and Where to
yeah,
Find Them.
I knew it was Fantastic Beasts. I
Y'all
knew
have
it.
seen
Like,
all the
yeah.
Harry Potters, right?
I have seen them.
Okay, there we go.
John has not. John hasn't seen The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, okay. But you're pro.
And to be honest, that the Fantastic Beasts is forgettable.
It's a prequel.
Yeah, well,
It's also forgettable.
yeah, I think
You don't like the
when you say it
smolder
now-
of like What about the animals?
It's too self-indulgent. It's just like,
Okay.
J.K. Rowling needs to hop off that train so let somebody else take the
Yeah,
reins.
get that notorious turf out of there. And if you want to know what John thought about the movie, and maybe Andrew, listen to Revenge of the Sequel, where we talked for an hour and a half about this movie.
For 2016.
Apparently. All right, everyone, we'll be back after this break. Welcome back from that break. Well, let's talk a little bit outside of the characters, just overall about the movie. A lot was made about, I guess, the way it looked. We shot on set. Remember when Feige went out there?
On set. On location.
On location. But remember when Feige, like, publicly said this
It's going to be the best shit ever.
blew everyone? Like, I also feel like maybe that's why the audience response is a little tepid because, I mean, they set these really high expectations before the movie came out. You had the guy in charge of Marvel saying this was like nothing you've ever experienced, and then you watch it and there's actually quite a few familiar things, and you're like, oh, I have experienced this.
The structure is pretty
What'd you think about the way it looked? Because it is different, even though it was filmed by someone who's shot a ton of Marvel stuff already.
It was, I think, in talking with someone else about who've seen the movie, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think it's like, I think maybe we've gotten a little too used to green screen and, like, I don't know. I'm probably just projecting on that. But it was, I guess, just really nice to see stuff on location. I think the visuals kind of linger on the landscapes and stuff, and it's pretty awesome to see that. You don't normally see that in the movie. And then if you think too hard about it, you're like, how the fuck are the Eternals getting around? Because
it's fast.
Well, I guess like Kingo has like a jet and shit. I guess that makes sense.
They got the Domo.
Yeah, I thought Icarus was just dropping them off, like just like flying them
one by one. And then I guess Makari can run.
Yeah, but Makari's not there until like
That's
the
true.
ship.
Until the ship.
Yeah, but seeing all these locations is really cool. I mean, it's very different from what Marvel does before, which is normally just kind of like you set it in a building or you set it in something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so in this case, like you're setting it on an island, you're setting it like in the desert.
You get that
South Dakota.
You got that kind of like winks at the new realism of Zhao, which is a lot of sunsets.
Yeah, it's a lot of
dusky.
Those are like Easter eggs within like the Zhao, like kind of like filmography because she does it a lot in The Rider and in Nomadland. I think it was pretty cool. It was I welcome it. I mean, I don't know why people were saying that. Like, I don't know if this is a negative aspect of the movie. I think people are, if anything, people are more disappointed that it's not more Chloe Zhao like. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense. I mean, because at the end of the day, I guess we'll get into this here in a second. Like, it's a Marvel movie. Like, it's you're making this movie for a studio that's used to doing some stuff a certain way.
Yeah, I have some suspicions about some of the ways they kind of. I guess in the public portrayed the look of this movie and what actually happened. I think one of the things about Zhao and the new realism and Terrence Malick thing is it's the composition of like, hey, you're in this beautiful place in nature and your character is there feeling an emotion or something like that.
Right.
And it's about everything that's in the frame at that moment. In this movie, you get like the background of that and then like something will be CGI'd to be distracting right in the middle of it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And it's a little less, it's kind of on its face, like just using the background of that new realism. But then we're gonna distract you with something that isn't actually part of the whole composition. And I have a feeling that when Zhao went back into the editing studio, I think that's when they kind of started like, oh, we didn't use green screen, but you know what? In 2021, you don't need green screen anymore to add shit. Does that make sense? Like, saying that there's no green screen isn't really a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
anymore.
yeah. I don't think it's like...
There's a lot of things that don't
I
have
don't think
green
I've ever
screen.
had a problem with it unless it really looks weird. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess that has stuff to do in the technical process, like maybe the rendering or something.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like okay. You can kind of feel like that it's kind of a... like a mixture, like almost like a Frankensteining of two different styles, like either of a Marvel style and then a person who does very small indie movies. Because this is not that. This is the Marvel, almost at the biggest scale it's ever been.
Yeah.
In a way. So
the most new characters I think we've seen.
Yeah,
in the main characters.
Also, in terms of scope, like it's the biggest it's ever been. I feel like in this case, like other than when Spider-Man comes around. So like,
you can't hear yourself. Are you good?
But Yeah, so like it's just you weren't talking. You can't hear yourself. You're just like
That's true. And I think that there is also just that. I forgot what I was gonna say.
I think you said something about like the expectations on the original podcast or the spoiler free podcast. You did say like something like, I think the expectations are out there. I think like I kind of want to turn it over to you here in a second of talking about the production history because I think you may have done more research into that than I have, but the as far as like what the audience is like kind of expecting out of Chloe Zhao just won the Best Picture Oscar. She won the Best Directing Oscar for Nomadland.
The expectations couldn't be higher. You
Yeah,
won an
exactly.
Oscar.
Yeah,
For the best
so, like,
director.
You're thinking
kind of
like,
crazy.
and it's what you said. Like she made this movie before
winning.
Nomadland. I feel like,
Yeah.
right? Didn't she? Like, or, like
I
maybe
think
around the
she
same
shot
time?
it after, but I mean, it was all concurrent in a weird
Yeah.
way. She was, I think, in pre-production during the shoot of Nomadland.
But like the thing is, like you can't. I don't know. You're also making a movie that's gonna have to please the masses
Yeah.
and stuff. Like Nomadland wasn't as much as I love that movie, and as much as the Academy loved that movie. It's not exactly. It didn't set the box office on fire, nor was it meant to. So like, yeah, I don't know what
This
people
one
were
is meant to.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
it has
Well,
to-
it's
it has
supposed to.
to.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know if it's what people were expecting when they saw Chloe Zhao's names attached to this movie. So
I think
like,
this is the thing with these filmmakers that Marvel targets that are. I mean, Chloe Zhao is an auteur. Like she has a very specific
she
thing that
didn't
she's
win the
doing.
Oscar before. Like when Marvel targeted her, she had no Oscar.
No
there.
way. And she's on this journey where all of her films are exploring humanity and the relationships and nature and all of that. So I think a lot of critics definitely thought, well, where does this Marvel movie fit in that exploration? And then finding out not really close to that stuff.
No,
It's
definitely.
its own thing.
It makes her seem like a director for hire, which I think at the end of the day, people need to be okay with that because she
Especially in a
technically
Marvel
was.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a Marvel movie. Yeah.
There's a long history of people who want to shape their movie in a different way that Marvel doesn't want.
And you said like
and they're gone. They got fired.
I think you said that. Yeah, you said that before we started recording. It was like Edgar Wright. We were talking about last night in Soho.
Scott
and how,
Derrickson.
like, yeah, Scott Derrickson
Gone.
didn't want to be for Doctor Strange 2. Edgar Wright with Ant-Man, left. Alan Taylor has voiced his, what happened with Thor: The Dark World, how
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
like complete freedom during the shoot, and then like no freedom at all during the editing. Yeah, I mean, you have to when you come in and do the Marvel way. Some people can play ball, like Taika Waititi can obviously has that. He can kind of please both.
Affect
yeah.
what he can.
Yeah, and then James Gunn is this other person. Like James Gunn is like can do his own thing, but also still have to like he still plays by the rules. Everyone
Yeah.
has to, and I think it's easier for some people, and then not as easy for other people. I think for Chloe Zhao, I think we should cut her some slack though because this is her first big studio-driven movie.
Yeah, and they did. I think I texted y'all. After she won the Oscar, they did revisit the movie because she had, she probably went up there with her Oscar.
Yeah, and she was
I
like,
was
"Hey,
like, hey,
I make good movies."
yeah, let me actually get a cut of this movie now,
Yeah.
or something like that. But I mean, that's kind of I feel like what I'm learning from the MCU is they are not entirely director driven as really other movies.
It's DC, but and then you saw that.
Or like basically every other movie that is like the end all
True,
be all
true.
director. This is a giant machine where the writers of the movies are onboarded, kept in like super secure rooms so they can write the movie, and then they find a director who works within the framework of this story, and then the producers day to day are the ones guiding it through. And I think we brought up some successful Marvel directors, but you've seen a Taika movie. And it's still very different from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, totally.
Or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see a James Gunn movie, and it's still pretty different.
Yeah, like very different than a Guardians movie.
Yeah, than a Guardians movie. So I think you're right. And I think that's kind of the bigger, I guess, like the Eternals existential thing that's happening for Marvel, because this movie, I mean, it didn't do what everyone kind
Thought
of
it was gonna do.
sort of
Yeah.
expected, not just in terms of the critical response, but it seems like some of the audience maybe just felt the runtime a little bit, or I don't know what the deal is, but and then of course it's COVID, so I mean I wouldn't even talk about box office, but it's really interesting because I think there is this existential thing with Marvel where if this is a long story or a story that's being told by brain trust or producers, where do these visionary directors fit? in there, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, I don't know where they fit, but
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I think there still will be. There will come a time where a director will probably put a stamp, maybe, on and will break the mold. It's a shame that it's not this movie. I think people were expecting that. Maybe I was expecting that too. That being said, I still think it shook the formula up. Like, I think you don't get this movie. I think some of the Marvel movies feel similar to each other. Like, in terms of the structure and stuff. And this one, when it comes to structure, yes, it does feel like other movies. But in terms of the entire overall feel of it, it's very much something different.
Yeah.
And so I think that's enough in this case. Like, it's enough that this feels different than your typical Iron Man or Thor movie.
I mean, it's different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be the Eternals versus the Deviants, and then that I thought it was going to be more cookie cutter than it was. And then Icarus turns on everybody, and I was like, oh fuck, Sprite's leaving, and you have to deal with Angelina Jolie freaking out and shit. So I think it wasn't as predictable as I thought it was going to be. But it's also one of these things where it's Marvel's MO to do these things. Like, you need a CGI ending because how the fuck are you going to put Arishem there, or whatever. And so
you need these stakes to be higher than the last movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I think it's one of these movies that I think is going to age a little bit more well with time as it goes on, as we see the bigger picture of now we're into the big cosmic shit and multiverse this, and it's not even the Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. It's just Marvel Cinematic Multiverse now.
Yeah,
and
MCM.
Now we're bringing in everything that's been canon. There are rumors that Patrick Stewart is in Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness.
I thought you were going to say in WandaVision. I was like, I got to rewatch. They're re-editing episodes. God.
And also Sam Raimi, who directed the Spider-Man trilogy, is doing Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stuff hitting the fan right now that I think people will look back on and be like, oh, this was the start of it, which is, again, Loki, WandaVision, and then stuff like this, where we're getting into the bigger and badder things. And, we haven't even talked about the after credit scene.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I think we will know.
It busts it wide open, and it introduces characters that you didn't think were going to be here. So I think it's going to age a little bit better later.
Well, there's two main after credit scenes. There's a mid credit scene and a post credit scene. I hate that now we know what mid credit and post credits are, the differences between the two. In the first one, Thena, Makari, and Druid are visited by
Arishem.
What is it?
Arishem.
Arishem, played by Harry Styles from One Direction, baby.
Oh, no, Star Fox. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I thought you meant this is when they were getting took. But
Thanos' brother, Star Fox, and his assistant, Pip the Troll.
It's also Eros.
Eros,
And
yeah.
then
Eros.
Pathos and Logos are to follow as well.
Oh, boy. And Thanos, I guess, is there, right? And Pip the Troll, voiced by Patton Oswalt. It seems like they are going to join our, I don't know, what do we call them? Space event? Space?
They're called the Eternals.
Well, I'm saying this group of Eternals.
Yeah,
just
like
the Eternals.
Rebel Eternals.
Ex-Earth Eternals or
Yeah.
whatever. What did you think about seeing Harry Styles up on that screen?
Man, the theater lost it in our screening.
Yeah, I think that was the first time even when I was with the second screening that I was at, the theater was empty because it was kind of early in the morning.
Not a good sign for a Marvel movie.
People were like, there was still a very noticeable reaction when Harry Styles came on screen.
I mean, it's Harry Styles.
I will
People think
go
he's
ahead
hot.
and say, I will go ahead and say, I thought Harry Styles was great in Dunkirk. I didn't know there was a giant fandom behind Harry Styles.
Wow.
People
I did not know.
What band was he part of?
One Direction.
Is that what it is?
And he's on his own now.
There's just a lot of those bands. That's
you
why.
you don't know
Direction.
Watermelon Sugar High?
Is that him?
Oh, my God.
I
Yeah.
thought that was Adam.
Nope, that's him. I think Harry Styles is big.
The movie's about being put.
This is kind of spoiled to me because after the Eternals premiere, Harry Styles was suddenly the number one trending thing on Twitter, and I was like, what's going on? Like, this is it's literally Eternals number one, and the number two, Harry Styles.
I just think
they were connected.
I don't
a Harry Styles.
It should have been someone else because I don't see the connection between Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
and-
we'll have to see
kidding.
how he plays it. I mean, I haven't seen Harry Styles in a leading role, like in a
Dunkirk.
but he's not exactly
supporting.
he's there. But I mean, Harry Styles, I don't know. We'll have to see it. But I
Have you
feel
seen
like
him on stage? The presence that it commands.
I do think
attention.
I do think it's a welcome
respect.
I think if anything, this will get people. Not that they're. I mean, it's the number one movie 2 weeks in a row. I think if anything, this will just popularize the Eternals even more.
And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
the people who are into the MCU pretty old now because
Yeah.
we've been 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And so when we were 20, now we're 30.
Yeah. We
And
loved
now
One Direction.
This is how you hook the
young
audience.
yeah.
And so you're like, damn, how do you keep people from coming on?
And-
just introduce Harry Styles.
And honestly, it was like an incredibly light-hearted scene, almost
It
like
didn't
even
fit to the rest of the
Well,
movie.
yeah, and
Like,
that's
It
why
looked
I was like,
directed by James Gunn.
yeah, I was like, are these? Should we even count these credits as part of the movie? Because I don't know.
because
We
Pit
should.
Patrol is a very like, it's a character that's like very deep
Yeah.
cut from Marvel, but also like that's a character that I think is more fit to stay in the Gun universe. or in the
Yeah,
Gunn
this is
version.
like Deadpool showing up. It feels
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that level of whoa. This is
Pit
another
Patrol
thing.
does hang out with like Adam Warlock, I think, in the comics. So I think this
Okay.
might be a connection to
And again,
Guardians 3.
Remember, there were other movies that were supposed to come out before Eternals, including Thor: Love and Thunder. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we'll be interested. The second end credit scene is the one that is really, really exciting, and that is Dane opening a chest
With the Ebony Blade.
with the ebony blade, and I guess, yeah.
It makes him the Black Knight. And I don't like that it's an ebony blade and then Blade is there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting
Double
because
blade.
yes, we do hear the voice of Mahershala Ali as Blade, which I think that just indicates that the Blade movie is going to be different, which I think is good.
Right. It'll
because-
have Dane Whitman in it, apparently.
Really? Oh, well, I guess that makes sense because yeah, I'm forming a team. But I'm
Midnight Suns.
You know, I was telling Andrew this after the movie that I don't see Blade fitting into the regular MCU much at all. Like in terms of the way it looks and the way it's just overly meta, and the way that there's like, Doctor Strange is going to be in like 50% of the next MCU movies or something like that.
Yeah.
And Eternals makes me think that the Blade movie can be darker, can be rated R, which I don't care about the rated R, just as long as there's good gore and shit in it, and the vampire stuff. And I feel like we are entering that kind of world, and I think that's really exciting. But what do you think about Blade?
I think it's to add what you said, like it doesn't really, you couldn't really see it. I still can't. I do like that Marvel is going into this really weird territory because, like, even watching the Moon Knight teaser a couple of days ago, I don't know how the fuck that fits.
Yeah.
Like that's
Moon Knight
a little too weird.
Looks
Like,
good, yeah.
It's really weird. Like
Yeah.
Moon Knight is a
I don't
guy
know where
who,
She-Hulk fits.
like no, but like a Moon Knight. Well, I mean, Andrew literally said that he doesn't know where She-Hulk fits.
I mean,
but also like
logistically, once they get through all of the New York superheroes, you're going to be like on every
'cause
corner.
Moon Knight is like
Hell's Kitchen?
He's possessed by an ancient spirit, like Egyptian spirit or something, and he's like, I don't know. That's insane to me. And he's basically Batman,
Well, I think from
or
the
sort of. He's Batman like. He's not
the visuals
actually
look
Batman.
pretty exciting.
Yeah, and then Oscar Isaac is obviously going to elevate the material.
Oh yeah, Oscar.
But yeah, we're getting into weird territory like that. So like Blade
Yeah.
Blade coming in and being a part of the Marvel
Yeah.
universe is pretty odd. But like I guess let's do it.
Yeah.
Like what else is there? If we're at giant celestial gods like that literally
Yeah.
can spike Earth like a volleyball, then why not bring
I've got
in like
a little
some vampires?
thing about Kit Harington's character too. I mean, I appreciate him in the movie and stuff, but a part of me after that credit scene made me think like, did they just cast him to get to this credits? Does that make sense? Like, it's like
to the
'cause
Black Knight
They
character?
could have honestly cast anyone.
Someone
to
really,
be the,
really
to be
liked
the
Game of Thrones. Like
well,
really,
that's
really
true.
liked
Like
Game of Thrones.
really went hard into the Jon Snow thing, but I was like, huh. It's kind of weird because I was like, man, this whole movie, this whole time you had this dude, and I feel like that may be also the reason why on Earth all Eternals are gone. There's no Eternals on Earth anymore.
Yeah,
by the end of this. So whatever threats happen, however long Arsham takes to read their memories, I guess, there can be a big threats on Earth because the Eternals are gone, and I was like, oh, okay, that may have felt like a plot thing too, just to be like, let's remove the gods.
Yeah. And
back on
then
Earth.
the Ebony Blade and the Black Knight is an interesting character because the Ebony Blade obviously gives the Black Knight his powers, or it gives Dane Whitman his powers, but it drains his life force. So I think that's a hint to the thing that's saying like death is my reward on the
Yeah.
blade when he opens it up. That's gonna be an interesting movie to see.
And he
'cause,
said
like,
that his family lineage, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it just
because
passed down.
he said his uncle, and his uncle in the comics is another Black Knight. Like it's passed down through the ages. Like the mantle. Is
Wait,
passed
are you
down.
telling me they're sticking Kit Harington back into the medieval times?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it earlier. I was like, the knight who took the black has become the Black Knight.
Who's watching? I forgot Game of Thrones
Watching?
stuff. Watching the Wall? Is that what something?
My
Yeah.
watch has ended.
My watch has ended, and then the White Walkers. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Watu's watch hasn't ended though.
Oh, there's a lot of incest. Andrew, what do you think about the after credit scene with Blade?
I thought it was cool. I expected something from Kit Harington's character throughout this entire movie, and so when he started,
Because he's kind of a big actor to have as just
Also, like, it's
as
like
side piece.
his name is the alter ego of the Black Knight.
It's
and
cheesy
so, like,
when he
I
says
saw it-
like it's
Yeah.
complicated my history. Like it's just
well,
like,
and
oh,
like
okay, here it
and I'm
comes.
like, finally, like this is what I've been waiting for. Like I've been waiting for you to do something all movie, bro. And instead, you're just kind of just being comedic relief and like playing second fiddle to like this superhero that you can never match up to. And so
Icarus.
now, it's really cool because I mean,
Icarus.
yeah. So yeah, now it's really cool because now we're gonna get to see the full power of the Black Knight, which I heard that he can fucking beat like Captain America by himself and shit. And you're like, oh fuck,
He like matches Thor on power levels. And
yeah,
stuff,
and you're like, holy crap! And so now, hopefully, Blade takes him along for the ride or trains him. He's like, hey, what better way to train with the blade than with the namesake? All blades are named after me. I was the original Blade.
I just want Blade, the
To
Blade
suck
movie.
on him a little bit.
Well, that and also like
Vampire.
there needs to be techno music to the fullest. They need to bring that back for
Yeah, dig
for
through the
Blade.
ditches and burn through the. Oh no, that's
That's Rob Zombie.
Matrix. Sorry, my bad.
I'm really, I'm really excited, I guess, for this side of the MCU, whatever this may look like. I am concerned that I forgot his
That
name.
he's an Eternal.
No, that the
kidding.
producer, I think Disney, I think you texted that Disney's the most reactionary and safest studio out there, which is true. They will literally put shit out on Disney Plus if it's safer to do. And I hope that their reaction, which it probably is going to be what it is after this movie for them to be like, oh, snap, let's hard pivot back into like,
Avenger stuff.
yeah, which is going to be interesting, I guess.
No, I think Marvel. It always comes back around with Marvel, even if we don't see them anytime soon. It's gonna come back around.
Disney
you know?
Plus, baby.
Well, that's the thing.
What
Is like
if?
She-Hulk has what, like the Abomination and fucking
And
in it
Wong.
again.
I'm just
Abomination's
So it's just
back.
like, yeah, so like it's there, and then it didn't take long for Ross to come back around with Civil War. So like it's just they're gonna
They'll take the Eternals.
you might be right. They might be hard pivoting. I don't think so. From what you said, the producer doesn't seem like he's wanting to.
I
like
gotta
it.
find his name. He's the producer of Black Panther. He made this movie, or he
Yeah.
produced this movie as
Kevin
well.
Feige.
Nate Moore,
And
I think, right?
and it's not Kevin Feige.
Is
Yeah,
it
they
Nate
asked him
Moore?
about
Yeah.
more Eternals, and Chloe Zhao said she wants to come back and make more Eternals, and he just said it's not near their priority list.
I mean, because they probably have to just introduce a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and also if you look at the slate from MCU, they're busy.
But also, you don't get a sequel into like another phase. They're still in phase 4. All this stuff that they just
Yeah.
announced is still phase 4. Like you're not going to get into phase 5.
They got too much happening right now.
Yeah. Also, I think this is the point where I think I was telling Drew, I was like, it's going to get pretty weird for Marvel now. Like Andrew described the show My Hero Academia as like, it's going to be a little ridiculous to see like everybody in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking superheroes are on this goddamn planet?
They
There's
just
like
everybody
60.
wears a costume at one point.
Safest Earth ever. I mean, for people who are like, man, where's the news? Because a lot of times sequels are announced right after the first movie does well. But Marvel holds a lot of things to their vest. Like we could
Yeah.
see an Eternals movie in 2023, honestly. Because
Didn't they say that they still have like 5 or 6 movies they haven't announced? Like,
yeah,
they're just
it's
like,
super popular. I mean, how long did it take for them to announce another Captain Marvel movie when we know that one was like they planned this stuff out. So I think it's totally possible we get more Eternals. But you're right. There's so much shit they got to do.
We got back from Disneyland. The movie had premiered Thursday. We were at Disneyland Friday, and we saw someone in that
Yeah.
expensive ass jacket that the Eternals that
People
they
are
were selling
dressing
for
up
the
as
thing.
them, yeah.
And so people were taking pictures with Fastos and Cersei and Kingo, and so it's working. And I think again, more people will catch on later, and especially when they're like, wait, Blade's first appearance was in the Eternals.
Yeah.
When it hits Disney Plus, hit me with them numbers because I guarantee you it's going to be in the millions.
Yeah.
Still.
I mean, well, I guess this comes to the end of the pod. I guess we'll go around the horror. Tell us your final thoughts on the Eternals. I guess we should rate it rotten or not. I'm just kidding. What's the other one? Fresh. That's it, right? Rotten or fresh? Is it fresh?
Yeah,
Or is it
funky
rotten?
fresh.
Two thumbs up, one thumbs down, two thumbs.
In the brown.
There we go. John, what do you think about the Eternals?
I liked it. I think what I said earlier, it might. I don't know if I think people are digging it. I just feel like there's a sense of like, it might be really bad. The script is kind of a little weird and wonky because it has so much shit in it.
Because it is weird and wonky.
Yeah, and it's also very weird.
And I really do think people feel the length. It's Hitchcock, I think, who said like your movies' goodwill only lasts as long as people's bladders.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought you were gonna say that Hitchcock said this about like this movie.
The Eternals. Yeah, Hitchcock watched the Eternals,
Well,
but I
that's
think
what-
he's right. He's like
totally
you
right.
know,
I mean, Drew doesn't like Endgame. I don't know, maybe because of the length.
Too long.
it's too long.
Um,
And also, I got a bad bladder, so
it's one of the
30
it's
minutes
one of
only,
the
shorts.
least rewatchable. I love it. I actually kind of maybe
Endgame?
like it more than Infinity War a little bit. No, actually, no. Infinity
or
War is better.
Eternals.
Infinity
Which
War is
one? Wait, what are you
Endgame.
talking about?
No,
Endgame.
but,
Okay.
No,
I was just
Infinity War
comparing
is
the
better.
length, but like,
I mean, I can just watch the on your left scene.
Eternals is great. I really liked it. I think it's I think as a filmmaker, why wouldn't you want to do a big blockbuster movie? You know, Nolan wanted to do it when he was like and now Nolan's addicted to doing it for some reason. But remember when Nolan the reason he took Batman is because he said he wanted it. He's always wanted to do the big blockbuster movie. You know, he came from indie filmmaking, and I think Zhao is kind of like, she's never flat out said it, but I think that's your role as a filmmaker. Like, if you're serious about being a filmmaker, why wouldn't you want to branch out and do the big fight movie or something, as opposed to like a small one? You can probably do small ones afterwards, but
I mean,
now
this
you
is even at the success it's at. Like, this is the most exposure Zhao's ever gotten.
yeah, exactly. And so like that's the thing is like why wouldn't you want to do that and just like kind of like feel that for it too? And so, or get a feel for it as like a, you know, check that off your list. So, but I think she did a great job with what she had. It is obviously a very Marvel movie, but it's the most different Marvel movie you've probably ever seen. It feels really different. It's really melodramatic, and it's big and epic in scope. A little too big at times, and I think like watching it on the biggest screen possible really helps because of like characters like Ashram. Ashram is huge. Like, that motherfucker is big.
And he just shows up too. Like, he's not
Yeah.
like
he ends climate change. You see that shit? Like, he just like parts the fucking sky.
yeah.
Yeah, and then so like this movie's like full of like moments like that, and I think if you really have a cool, like if you have a connection with superheroes, if you love superheroes, this movie kind of goes into and like questions what does it mean to be that? Why do these things happen? It's a really cool movie. I think it's a breath of fresh air for Marvel. It's kudos to them for trying something very different. I think like what Drew said, this will age like a fine wine in time. But at the moment, I think it's kind of a little underrated. Like, I think it's maybe not a lot of people are rooting for it, even though it is making like a lot of money. But I loved it. It was it's great. I kind of do want to see more of them now. Like, I was introduced to some really fun characters, and I really want to see Zhao's take on them go forward. Because you know, it would be a shame if they brought him forward and then didn't use, you know, her in the process.
I mean, it almost seems like Ash, like he better keep him for a long time because they can just solve most problems when they're back on Earth.
Definitely,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
Well, and do they have a director for Blade yet or no?
yes,
I think they have a writer.
I was like, give me Chloe Zhao. I was like,
I'll look it up. But yeah,
I was like, put Chloe Zhao on that shit. She's already introduced him. If you're not gonna do the Eternals, might as well. But if there's already a director, I guess not. Whatever.
I'll look. Yeah, it is. It's Bassam Tariq.
Okay.
So sorry, the seat's taken.
Sorry, Chloe Zhao.
But what, Andrew? What do you think about the Eternals?
I think you should go watch Nomadland instead. No, I'm just kidding. It was really. I'm gonna echo what John said. I think it's really ambitious. It's one of Marvel's most ambitious projects, I think, for sure. Besides, you know, like something like WandaVision or even Endgame to an extent, because you're trying to end this whole 10 years of filmmaking or whatever. But I think it's really cool. It's a really human movie. I know it's a big scale, but it ultimately boils down to things that you deal with in everyday life, and it's the most diversive Marvel movie to date, and it's really cool to get all that equal representation, whether it's signing or having someone who is Middle Eastern here or who is of Asian descent, and it's really cool to get that representation and to have there's a lot of firsts in this movie for sure in that front. So I think it's really cool and really important for the future generations and things to, you know, imagine the movies that will be inspired by this one, where I think it's gonna be, and that's why I love that it's standalone, because someone was like, "Well, do I need to watch the other 20 Marvel movies?" I was like, "No, you don't."
Not really.
And so
that's so rare in the MCU,
yeah, and
right?
this one and Shang-Chi are really like rare examples, because Shang-Chi still has Wong and the Abomination, but it's such a small part that you're like, oh man, it feels like a Disney movie or something like that. Like it's this standalone adventure that kind of wraps everything up neatly with a bow and things like that, but also leaves you wanting more. And hopefully the next one isn't 2 hours and 30 minutes. That'd be rough. Now that you've introduced 10 characters, I'd
10 more Eternals
it's
after
like,
that.
it's like Dune, where
You
you're
have
like
Kronos,
coming in. It was that long because you were laying the groundwork for something.
Yeah, they introduced Javier Bardem in Dune for
like 2
another
minutes.
movie, basically. That's
And so it's something like that where like maybe I think the pacing will fix itself in the next movie because you laid all the groundwork and all the hard work in this one. But I think there's really a lot to be kind of discovered with these characters, and where their character arcs go in these specific directions. It seems like the team was fractured there towards the end, and now that everyone's kind of on the same page. But I'd love to see them in their own adventure and not so much in other people's side stories.
Yeah,
that's cool if you see them in Ragnarok. That's cool if you see them in Guardians. But I want more to them.
I mean, they still have this giant existential question about Ashram that I think that they.
You're telling me no one on Earth saw that giant thing?
That's what I'm saying. Like
that should raise questions.
That, especially with how powerful the Eternals are, that is their ongoing threat, or that at least their ongoing mission that really no one else can
could you
solve.
Imagine defeating Thanos, and you're like, "This is the best." And then you look in the sky and you're like, holy fuck. This guy, could you imagine if this guy had a glove? His glove would be the size of, he'd be putting planets in this fucking glove.
Infinity Stones, I think, can still take out...
half of him?
No, I think they can take out Celestials, because they're...
They were there before. They were there before.
No, they were there afterwards, but they're strong.
But
in that universe.
they don't work on the Eternals.
Not
Chloe Zhao,
not important at the TVA though.
Chloe Zhao,
they don't work on the Eternals, but if they blasted them, they would probably work.
Maybe.
I'm
kidding.
It'll be interesting to see where Eternal, and I really do think this is kind of that thing now with the MCU where we're getting these different chapters, and we know there's going to be so much filled in between at some point by a show or by a movie. Kind of weird. We're in this long form storytelling, especially with Marvel. I think that's the same with Eternals. People may find it really rough to watch right now because of the melodramatic moments. I think it's inspired off of anime, and if you haven't seen anime, you maybe think that this is a lot, but watch an anime and it's really not. That shit's kind of wild. But I feel like there's a lot of this that people may feel is disjointed, very different, or it could very well be they're just looking for Doctor Strange in this movie, which is totally possible too. Because I don't know what people are thinking. But I feel like once we get through the Blade stuff and some of the other parts of the MCU that honestly I think is kind of needed at this moment, this may feel like it's a little bit better, especially if we see them more. It's kind of weird, but it's really the only way to fix, people's complaints that there's too many intros in this movie is just make more stuff where it feels like the intros were worth it. Does that make sense? So, I mean, that's happening with Dune right now. But I feel like it's hopeful. My hope is that Disney isn't risk averse and that they see this and think, well, maybe now we can really double down on making these movies that are different because we've seen. This one take it really, really far. But I don't know. Part of me feels like they're going to take the wrong lessons from this.
And sorry, this can't be Spider-Man's greatest hits like the way we're going to see in December.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was more original.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And yeah. I mean, we talked about the after credit scene, but after that movie and they showed those two, I bet people were just like, damn. My favorite part of this movie was Blade coming out at the end. I'm not even joking. I bet people will.
Yeah, I think
I bet that's the take a lot of people have.
I think that was the take in reviews is oh my god, those earth shattering after credit scenes.
But that's what sucks is that if you say that, you're categorizing this movie with Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and this movie is 10 times that movie. That I haven't even seen Let There Be Carnage, and I can tell you that.
How do you know
there's
then?
Carnage?
Yeah, because sorry, Andy.
Are you saying PTA?
Sorry,
are you saying Paul Thomas Anderson is wrong? Wow. Andrew says he's a better filmmaker than PTA on this pod. I'm just kidding. Well, we've come to the end of this pod.
Cool.
We have.
So it's time for plugs. John, what do you have to plug?
Butt plugs.
Wow.
That's what he's plugging. Plugs.
Yeah, listen to this. Listen to
this.
Listen to this. Yeah, exactly. Listen to what I'm about to say.
Well, now at the end, I hope you were listening.
You know your cousin Marvin Barry. I'm just kidding. We'll listen to this.
Listen to Revenge of the Sequel. I think we're in the middle of a season right now. I think we're going to get back to recording pretty soon. Actually, I'm cheating that. But we got some really cool stuff coming out. I think the Suicide Squad gets an episode. The Halloween episodes are pretty great. No Time to Die will eventually get an episode. I think we might record Ghostbusters if all of us see it.
Go
and if
Butters.
all of us like it.
I'm
I guess.
pretty sure we're gonna watch them.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it on Thursday.
I'm watching it right now.
Oh shit. Yeah, and listen to the listen. Revenge of the Sequel is back, baby. Just listen to that and get yourself vaccinated. Get boosted if you can. And
I want to play devil's advocate about that. I'm kidding. Andrew, what do you have to plug?
G4 is back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna plug Countdown or the Countdown Strikes Back, Countdown to Pound Town, the podcast that's coming back. I was kidding that we're debuting, but yeah, get vaxxed. That we got some really really cool stuff on that Star Wars pod. If you like that, all that jazz. I get it. If Marvel's your only thing, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
No.
But if you like Star Wars, we talk about all the High Republic stuff. We read the book so that you don't have to. But also, it's going to help you catch up with shows like The Acolyte, where The Acolyte has to do. That's Star Wars canon, and that's going to be one of the more exciting.
Hey, and hot take, a lot of this in between Star Wars stuff, maybe some of the strongest and best stuff that
we're finally away from we're finally away from the Skywalker. So this and Star Wars Visions. We even cover Star Wars Visions, which is another different Star Wars take. But I'm covering a lot of stuff that I think is going to be relevant very soon, more sooner than we think.
Yeah.
Maybe not so soon because Ryan Johnson and Patty Jenkins movies are on. But also also check out G4 TV. They just came back.
Why are we plugging G4? They don't need our help.
They're the reason that I talk about this stuff, and they're part of the reason that.
Yeah, but they don't have any intellectual property rights of
maybe.
this. What? No.
I'm just kidding.
And then Director Showdown, I guess, gets a shout out too.
No.
Yes.
Also, Dirt Sheet Radio. My boy John, Juicy John in the Streets.
Juicy John in the Streets.
If you love professional wrestling, he covers that stuff. Director Showdown. And if you love movies, it's a little bit more niche because if you don't like Kurosawa movies, you're not gonna have a good time. But even then, kind of not really because they're covering Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
And we all know all of you love Zack Snyder.
Okay. Yeah, listen to all the pods supported at patreon.com/DelphinPod. There will be a lot of exclusive stuff there, and we'll have a lot more Marvel stuff coming down the lane because Hawkeye is coming out this holiday season.
We're starting a DC podcast.
And Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out too. So we've got a lot of new MCU stuff. And Andrew and I went to Avengers Campus, the IRL MCU, and we're in it. And we got to do an episode on that.
Yeah, we got to ride the Web Slingers ride, the one that we thought
ride the
we
Web
weren't.
Slinger.
We got to ride the web slinger.
We got to shoot webs all over each other. But yeah, we got to ride, and we didn't think we were going to. Because everyone was like,
Andrew got food from Pim's Test Kitchen.
Dude, the
Was it
French
small?
toast.
We saw some
of it was small. I had little eggs and little oranges, and then I had a little tiny fork.
Tiny eggs.
I had my tiny fork.
I will say it was a little annoying.